Am I the asshole for not taking an 11-year-old's word for it? My 20 dad made some friends when he studied abroad. One of them is on a visit in our country right now, and he brought his daughter, 11, with him. He asked if I could take her to our national museum since it's good for kids to practice some art appreciation. I said, sure. She wasn't very enthusiastic about it though. When we were waiting for the opening time, she pointed at a nearby cafe and asked if I could buy her a cup of coffee, saying it's the least I could do before making her spend 2 hours look at some boring stuff. I hesitated and she said her dad lets her drink latte, so I called him just to check. He said yes before asking, did you think my daughter is a liar? And I didn't know what to say. It didn't occur to me that that was what I was insinuating when I was expressing my doubt. I just wanted to be sure. Ended up buying her oat milk latte, per preference, before taking her on a tour. Don't know if I was too anxious, but when I took her back to the hotel her dad seemed kind of frosty towards me. Not the asshole. Checking with a parent before giving a kid you have never met before food is considerate and safe. Maybe they were allowed at one time. That doesn't mean it's universal approval and the kid may misrepresent that even unintentionally. Maybe the kids would just say, I'm allowed lattes, and neglect to mention they need lactose-free milk due to allergies. Or maybe they are a liar because they're 11 and sometimes kids, and adults, lie when they want something and think they can get away with it. You did the right thing, the dad was a fucking dick. Not the asshole. My response would have been along the lines of, I have no idea if she is a liar. I just met her, but I do think she is 11 and you are her father. And that is why I asked. Not the asshole. I would never assume an 11-year-old was allowed coffee to begin with, so I would have called no matter what. That is kinda nuts. My sister used to let her youngest have coffee at that age as a treat, but it was basically a mug of steamed milk with like a tablespoon of coffee in it lol. Amusingly, I found that out because my niece told me she was allowed to have coffee one weekend I watched them for my sister. I was shocked and called my sister asking her what the fuck she was thinking, and she explained it to me lol. For what it's worth, had anyone spoken to me like that, they would have been drinking water out of a water fountain if they were thirsty. I most definitely wouldn't have bought them anything. Course you're not the asshole op. Why on earth is an 11-year-old drinking coffee? Father should be appreciative you took the extra step to verify with him, instead of getting all pissy. Don't sweat it op, just back out of this situation. It's more stress than it's worth. He said yes before asking, did you think my daughter is a liar? When her dad copped an attitude with you for asking, I would have taken her back to him. Lol, not the asshole. She demanded you buy her a latte for taking her to a cool museum? She sucks. He's pissed because he's allowing his 11-year-old daughter drink coffee? At 11? And he's salty you had the audacity to check? Because she's fucking 11? He sucks too. Don't talk to them anymore. No field trips. No lattes. You don't need shitty people in your life and they're both garbage. Am I the asshole for moving someone else's birthday cake out of reach of an entitled toddler? I was just at my girlfriend's mom's birthday party. We'd ordered an expensive cake for her and split the cost 3 ways with her sisters. Her brother, who never contributes to any of the shared presents, brought his spoiled 2-year-old kid. While everyone was singing happy birthday, the kid started sticking his hands into the cake and licking them, and picking off the decorations. I looked around in horror but her brother and his wife were just smiling at this like it was the absolute cutest thing ever, and everyone else was totally unfazed and said nothing. I bit my tongue and didn't say anything either, but I reached over and moved the cake a few inches out of reach of the kid. Immediately the kid started thrashing around and screaming bloody murder. Everyone glared at me like I was the most evil boss on earth for doing what I did and rushed to placate the kid. A WWH you poor little thing, ain't and giving him cake. I doubled down and calmly, rationally said what the kid was doing was incredibly unhygienic, it wasn't his birthday cake and he's old enough to be taught to wait literally 1 minute until he gets a slice of cake instead of destroying someone else's birthday cake and covering it with his germs. Now I'm being made out to be a huge asshole for saying this, and I ruined the birthday party. Considering it's the entire family's reaction, it's making me start to question whether or not I am just a grumpy asshole. Ooh, this is the ghost of Christmas future talking now. This is every birthday party, every cookout, every reception for the rest of your life. If you have 100% buy-in from your girlfriend, then your child will not be a monster, but they will quite rationally have questions about why their cousins get away with everything. If your girlfriend was part of the group that piled on, you will be utterly alone for the rest of your life in believing in standards. But it's not too late, Ebenezer, it's not too late. Edit to add. Not the asshole. This really sucks because you're not the asshole, but it's clear they're fucking gross and it should have been someone who's not the daughter's boyfriend, saying something. I would have rejected a slice when the time came. No, thank you. It's a germ thing. If you are all super close, whatever then, no issue with how you said it. They can cry about their nasty fucking kid. That's repulsive. Not the asshole you moved the cake and the toddler had a fit. They appeared to be okay with it. Even if this is nasty. If they all are okay with the toddler doing this, then I would never eat anything from your girlfriend or her family. You don't know what else they think is okay. Not the asshole. I can't believe you are getting downvoted on this. Those posters need to slap hazmat warning labels on their houses to warn the rest of us so we can avoid the contamination. Not the asshole. You've been given a preview of what your future looks like if you stay with this woman. Shitty, entitled family. Drama. BS. Nope, your way out of there ASAP. I'm going you are the asshole on this one because it feels like a read the room scenario. You said everyone else seemed unfazed, and while you split the cost it was also not your birthday cake. It was your girlfriend's mom's cake. If she was fine with it, that's all that should matter here. It's her grandkid and she might in fact think it's cute. I'm with you. I think it's gross and I don't think they are doing the kid any favors. But he is also 2 and that is pretty normal 2-year-old behavior. It's not your cake, not your kid, not your party, so it's not your call on this one. What God can decide if whether or not you want to actually eat a piece of the cake? Am I the asshole for telling my coworker? I don't need to stop crocheting while on break because they're there. This is my first time posting. Sorry about the long post, but I need to get some different views on this, and plus sorry in advance. I am not a great speller. Sorry if there are mistakes. 20F. Starting to crocheting again after a year's break. And I am bring my projects to work and only crochets on my lunch, rest breaks, and I have been doing this about 2 weeks now. Sometimes our lunch breaks line up with each and most of the time everyone is on their phone or in their own place. I am usually crochet and listening to a podcast, watching a video, with my earphones in, and if someone wants to talk with me, I put my project down and take my earphones out, but if they don't, I am working on the project. I got this one coworker, Mary, not her real name, mid-60s F, about 2 days ago. She came into the break room and I was already there and I am crocheting. When I saw her, I said hi and smile, then went back to my project. She sat down and was on her phone. About 10 minutes goes by and I feel a tap on my shoulder. I look up and I saw Mary, so I stopped crocheting and paused what I was listening to. I asked Mary what's up and she said it was rude to be crocheting while she was here. I am surprised as she is basically always on her phone and watching video, without earphones, so can hear what she is watching, which is usually Facebook Reels. I apologizes but said I am not stopping crocheting on my lunch breaks because she is there. She got mad and complained to my manager about me. My manager said I am allowed to crochet on my breaks but I should be more aware on how rude it can be to others. Some of my other coworkers are on my side and others see Mary view. I have been staying away from Mary at the moment. But I don't know, so am I the asshole? Edit. Thank you everyone for being so nice and giving some advice on my problem. To give a little background, Mary and I joined working basically on the same day. We have been here around 2 months now. Mary is an okay coworker, most of the time, but she can be a bit old-fashioned, e.g., one of my coworkers goes by they, them and Mary always misgender them. I am a little bit socially awkward sometimes but I do get along with mostly everyone I work with. The break room is pretty small. It has one big table with about 8 chairs. Most people on break at the same time would be around 3-5 people. But I rarely have the same break time as Mary, as we both work in the same area. Plus when I am listening to something, it is always low volume and I have one earphone out. The only time I put both earphones in is if someone is playing something from the phone speaker. I am sorry I can't reply to all of yours comments. I did not expect this much cold sweat smile, but to answer some of the questions. I am planning to speak to manager about this. I'll be working tomorrow with Mary and I probably update if anything happens. Plus crochet is quite uses one hook, as knitting uses 2 needles and makes the clicking clack sound. Plus we work in a reception type of job, cafe, retail. I work at a museum. I hope this might clear things up. I am working tomorrow with her, and there is a high chance our breaks will line up together. So let's see how it go and I'll try to update you all. Update. This will probably be my only update. At work today, I was able to find my manager who is also with higher ups, so I told them my side of the story, and how I wished the manager handled better. The manager, she apologizes to me. TBH, I think she did it because the higher ups were there. And later on at my lunch break, I was in the break room crocheting and Mary walked in. Now I don't know what happened beforehand. Probably my manager, higher up, spoke to Mary. But Mary apologizes to me. Plus just before I left work today, Mary's husband, let's call him Ian. Ian also works at the same place as I, as groundskeeper. He came up to me and apologizes for his wife as well. But if she does try something like this again, I will go to the higher ups. I am Australian, and I don't think we have a HR team at my job. Believe those reports go to management? BTW, I still don't know why she thought it was rude, and I'll probably will never know. Thank you everyone for reading this sparkling heart. Not the asshole. Your breaks are for you to have a break. If crocheting is what you need to do in order to feel refreshed, then you should be allowed to do it without being made to feel bad about it. Not the asshole. You are not obliged to be available for her during your breaks. Crocheting quietly isn't rude in any way, but playing videos without earphones is. WTF? It's your break for you to do stuff in as you wish. You are not obliged to even acknowledge anyone else, so well done you for generally doing so. I don't understand what she was expecting of you, but whatever it was more than you were obliged to do. You said hello, she started scrolling, end of interaction. So hang on, she doesn't think it's rude you have your earphones in listening to podcasts, but crocheting is? Weirdest logic ever. If you wanted to be social you could crochet and chat, so for her to raise that specific thing is super odd. You are not her lunchtime companion there for pleasure. So very strange, and to raise it with management. I was told it was rude to read on my lunch break before because I should be open to conversations with people instead of rudely looking elsewhere. She sounds bossy and wants to be the center of attention. You're not doing anything wrong. Not the asshole. Mary sucks. Lunchtime is your time. Crochet is not noisy or antisocial. Crochet Mary a balaclava with no mouth hole and see if she takes the hint. Am I the asshole for being offended over not being included in my family's matching "I love you" tattoo? Since my dad left, my mom, sister and I have been tight. There for each other, ya know? Some days ago my mom and sister came home spontaneously with matching "I love you" 3,000 inches tattoos. I asked them why I hadn't been invited or included, and my mom snapped at me saying, "They're inspired by that dumb Marvel movie your sister likes, you wouldn't have wanted one." Hello? I love Marvel and have been collecting comics and memorabilia for years. It's what she gets me for my birthday and Christmas every year. I would have loved to participate, and that's what I told her. Then she changed her answer saying, "Not everything has to be equal, and that's life. Sometimes you just don't get included in family things. There's this concert this weekend we're supposed to go to, however I'm planning on staying home, much to their anger. They're telling me I'm overreacting, however I just don't feel like going out with them right now. I don't know how to feel. I don't want to overreact, it is just a tattoo, but I feel bad being left out, especially since we've talked about matching tats for years. Not everything has to be equal, and that's life. Sometimes you just don't get included in family things." Gosh, that's a brutally honest way to tell you who's her favorite. Get an unloved 3,000 inches tattoo to be real petty. My dad passed 2 weeks after I got married. My mom, myself and my 2 siblings all talked about going together to get remembrance tattoos for him. I also live about an hour from the rest of my family. They all went and got their tattoos together and never said a word to me that they were going. You were left out and you are feeling some type of way about that. There is nothing wrong with that. It seems your mom is being defensive because she probably realizes deep down that she messed up. It would be great if she could acknowledge that without you having to tell her. I would explain myself as plainly as possible about the concert and let them know, you will get over it, but just not yet. Not the asshole. Not the asshole, but matching mother-daughter tattoos like this combined with your mother's cruel reaction to your feelings makes me think you'll be glad you maintained distance from this situation in the long run. Your mom either has some sort impulse control problem or your sister is the golden child. Either way, I'd start making healthy connections and build a support system outside of your mother and sister. I'm not saying you need to cut them off, but you need to make sure that they aren't the only people you have to go to for emotional support. Not the asshole. Your mom sounds mean AF.